has been something on my heart that has just been really dealing with me on a personal level. You know how every now and then there'll be a quote or something that really resonates with you and you play it over in your head, or something that somebody said, something that you heard. I was around my home, just cleaning up, living my life, really dealing with some of the transitionary things that are happening, both good and challenging in my life. And the one thing that came to my mind, and it has not left my mind since, and this has been at least 2 weeks, is this idea of existing in places where you truly belong. And I had to ask myself, have I ever really thought to just be and exist in spaces, places, atmospheres where I truly belong? And to some, that may seem like a simple concept, nothing revolutionary, not reinventing the wheel. But for me, it really put a lot of the things that I have been processing on a personal level into focus. So, what I mean by existing in places where you truly belong is to seek out and choose to exist, work, live, love, evolve in places that are in line with your passions, your purpose, things that make you happy, things that make you better, and things that are truly in line with who you are as a person. I can think back to sometimes, especially in my career path, where I took jobs or did things that I did just to make ends meet, which is nothing wrong with that. I think we all have taken either a gig or a project that we're like, oh, it'll pay the bills or it'll help make ends meet. But I constantly found myself being unfulfilled on a personal level. Was everything taken care of? Financially, sure. On the outside, everything looked fine, but I was putting my energy, my time, and very much so when you're dealing with individuals on a day-to-day basis in terms of a job, a spiritual level, I was investing all of that into something that wasn't fulfilling to my heart. And I came to a place where I felt as if this is okay. I could do this, but do I want to do this? Do I want to keep existing in a place where I felt like my heart didn't belong? And this idea during this transitionary part of my life where I'm really trying to be the best me, and that is so cliche, but I mean it with all my heart. I'm really trying to be the best person that I can be on all type of levels. I see my strengths, but I also see my weaknesses, and I want to make them better. And one thing that I have not been the best about is taking the risks that are sometimes involved with existing in places where I belong, putting my time, energy, passions, purpose into things that serve me and that make me feel good. I remember and this is like a rough quote, a quote where it's like, your passions, you work on your passions long enough or something, and then eventually they will pay you. And I want to get to that place where I am working and existing and evolving with individuals in spaces where I don't have to feel forced, where I don't have to put on. And I know that we all have our corporate voices, and we don't 100% act the same at home as we do in our corporate or job arenas, and that's fine. That's just business decorum. But what I mean is, when you cannot be who you truly are, when you are not serving and doing things that truly matter to you, that's what I mean by places where you belong, where you can't truly be yourself, where you're not really even partially doing anything that you feel like you should be doing. And that is just something that has been resonating on my heart that I wanted to share with you guys. And I wonder if anyone else is in that space where you're like, you know what, I don't want to force myself to be in these spaces where I don't feel like I belong. It's almost like, let's go back to high school. In high school, there are cliques. That's part of social norms, especially in the high school stage of your life, in that age where you find people who look like you, sound like you, can relate to you, and you guys form these cliques. Not necessarily a bad thing. It's almost like you're being in a clique where you don't truly belong. So let's say you're part of the, and this is so cliche, but follow me. You're part of the cliche popular clique, right? And the popular clique who's just so exciting and everybody wants to be, but on the inside, you kind of want to be a part of what is the theater group, right? You have a passion for theater. You think you're really good at it. You go at home and you study all the best films and all the best plays, and you love A Raisin in the Sun, and you really think that's something you really want to do, but like you kind of force yourself to exist in a place that doesn't really serve you, that you feel like you want to be a part of because there's some sort of social gratification there. You get all this wonderful attention, but it's not really where your soul belongs. Your soul belongs with the theater people, being dramatic and developing all these characters. You want to do those things, but you decide to be in another group where you don't really feel like you truly belong, but you make it work because it's, it kind of serves you in some sort of way. So that is an example. So take that example and apply it to any area of your life where you feel as if you are forcing yourself to be somewhere where you don't belong. And I challenge you to ask yourself, have you ever thought to seek? And I say seek because this is an intentional thing. Seeking is intentional. Have you ever thought to seek existing in a space where you truly belong? And furthermore, what kind of freedom you can get from that? The freedom to exist somewhere where you don't have to put on, where your talents and your passions make sense. You don't have to make them make sense for your space. They already exist and they already make sense in this space where you are evolving and growing and loving yourself. And this is not to say in any regard that you should not challenge yourself and you shouldn't step outside of your comfort zone, because existing where you belong isn't necessarily the most comfortable thing. If you are existing in a place where you feel like you are passionate and your soul belongs, it doesn't mean it's not going to be challenging. So I'm not saying don't step out on faith every now and then or all the time and do things that scare you and challenge you. But when it comes to your essence and who you are, existing in places where you belong, I wholeheartedly believe is going to lead to your life's greatest accomplishments, your life's greatest successes, and you being joyful in a way that is just better and greater than anything you've experienced before. And I think a lot of this also has to do with understanding what it is that you love. Where do you feel like you belong? And it takes a lot of introspective work, and that's where I am right now. I'm taking this introspective work and looking back on some of the things that I have chosen to lend my time to, and this is more so related to professional things, right? Because I'm just at that stage. And thinking I could take that same time and energy and throw it into some place that I'm super passionate about and I love, and that can still serve all my financial needs and all that other stuff as well. And sometimes it takes risk. I was thinking in order for me to get to where I know I need to be, there is a lot of risk. And that sometimes is really scary. But what is more scary to me is continuing to exist in a space where I know I don't belong and I know doesn't serve who I am as a person, who Lex is as a person. So I don't know, those just some thoughts that I had, and I'd love to know from you guys as you're listening to this, is there an area of your life where you feel like you're forcing it? It may be a relationship, it may be a friendship, it may be work, it may be a passion project where you're just forcing it and like it's it's not right. You know it's not where you're supposed to be. I'd love to hear, because I think these conversations are so good to have, where you can just be transparent and be like, I don't know if this is where I belong, but I do know there's some place where I belong and I want to get there. So let me know. Let's have a conversation about it. And the next time I have one of these random introspective thoughts, I will hop on here and share it with you then too. So yep. So thank you so much for listening, and I guess we'll just chat later. Bye, friends.